Beat Making Basics.
What's going on YouTube? Beat Making Basics back again with another dope video. If you are new to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe, as well as give me a thumbs up on the video if you like the content. Now, listen, without further ado, let's jump right into today's content. What we're going to be doing is finishing this UGK type beat. Specifically, this is a 10-minute beat challenge, so we're going to be doing the mixing on this beat, okay? If you're new, basically how we do these beat challenges is we make the beat in 10 minutes, one video. Then we arrange it into a song in 10 minutes, another video. And then we mix the video, or mix the beat in 10 minutes. Third video, okay? So we're on the third video. Let's jump into it. This is the beat. I'm gonna just play the intro and the hook, and then we're gonna jump right into the mix. All right, beat's pretty dope. Let's go ahead and get to the mix. Now, honestly, I like to just keep things simple when it comes to, mixing beats. You know what I mean? There's a lot of dope plugins that you can, use and different things like that. Rule of thumb here is to keep, your tracks to a minimal. As you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tracks here. It helps with, balancing the frequencies and everything. So first thing first, let's just make sure the drums are right. All right, I'm gonna mute or solo out everything here on the drums and just make sure everything is hitting where it needs to. Now, normally we would just take everything down and do all that, but let's go ahead and do it. We'll do the traditional approach. I'm gonna leave this sample on here. We'll bring up the kick first. So first thing is to level everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to turn down the actual stereo out to about -6 dB. And that's just going to help us with headroom. Cool. So once you make sure you have the kick hitting higher than the snare next, making sure everything sounds loud but not too loud where it's just like crazy blaring into your ear type thing. Now what you want to do is start bringing in maybe like the 808. And you want it to where it's like just loud enough where you can feel it. You feel me? If you can't feel it, it's not loud enough. And if it's too crazy where you can't even hear the kick or the snare, then it's too loud. Like for instance, some of y'all might like it like that. I just continue to believe that the 808 should be a little bit less bumping than the kick and snare. Cool. Right after that, you want to go ahead and bring the hi-hats in, put those under the 808. Cool. Now that that's working well, what we want to do now is go ahead and bring in the sample or bring in the melody. All right, and the reason why I'm doing it like this, like in the automation, in the last video, you saw me pretty much just come over here and do a fade out, and so yeah, that's why I'm doing it like this. Normally, I would just push the fader down, but anyway, let's go ahead and bring this guy in here, and we'll go to the second section. All right, perfect. So the levels are pretty nice. The next thing to do to mix the beat, 10 minutes or less type vibe, is really just to take away certain frequencies that might be competing with others. So for instance, this 808 really is supposed to be a little low key to start the show after the, samples and different things like that. So what we'll do is we'll come in here on these samples and we'll take out some of the low end, just there, start there. And that automatically did something for the actual beat, the shine through. Because, the kick has low end frequencies, 808 has low end frequencies, so you can still see that, like hear that kick. It's not muddy and everything like that. We'll go ahead and take out some of the frequencies, low end frequencies on the snare, even though the snare is more like a mid range. Yeah, and then you want to make sure you take out some of the stuff on the other percussion instruments as well. All right, bet. So we got that out of there. I would next go ahead and make sure you're on different parts of the song. Make sure you get everything mixed here. So we want to take out some of the low end on this main sample. Sounds dope. Now I want to go ahead and use some compression just to make certain things pop out in the mix. This is one of my most favorite compressors probably of all time. It's the MV2 plugin by Waves, and I just like it. I feel like it just really, especially for like like your melody, you know what I'm saying? It can kind of boost the signal without it making it sound too crazy. So that's that with the plugin. This is without. It's just a slight little to it. You know what I'm saying? Just a little just a slight bit. And it really helps out. So I'm gonna come over here to mixer window and we're gonna just hold down Option and drag that bad boy over like so. 808, basically you can take out some of the highs on that one. Make room for the highs on some of the other instruments. The kick, I usually leave that alone for the most part. Believe it or not, you can just take a little bit out of the lows, just a little bit. I tend to not mess with the frequency on the snare, or the kick, just because, like, say if you cut like all this out, right? There's actually a lot of like high-end sounds and even mid-range sounds in kick drums that like make it pop. So depending on the kick drum, I just leave this alone. You know what I mean? All right. So once that's done, you can decide if you want to add some type of like reverb or something like that to some of the instruments. I think I'm going to leave it pretty much dry because it's already a lot going on since it's like a gospel sample. But sometimes I might throw some reverb on a sample or anything, things like that. Now, with this being said, I'm going to go ahead and drag in my producer tag and put it right here. Put her at the beginning, say like right there. I'll also throw this MV2 plugin on the tag just to bring the, you know, volume, make it just punch out a little more. Sounds dope, sounds clean, crisp, clear, all that fun stuff. I'll take it a step further, like what I would actually do in this situation, save this bad boy and then bounce him down. I'll usually bounce it down as a wave. 48 right here. Yeah, we'll just bounce them down like this, put them on the drive. And then what I would do is after it finishes bouncing down, I'm gonna open up a new session. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this. Command S. We're gonna open up a brand new session here. Go with audio, and I'll go over here to where my drive is, and here's my song. I'm gonna drag him on into that new session. And what I would do is, like on BeatStars, like I would upload this wave as the wave that you would sell, and then this right here is actually gonna be the wave or the track that we would stream to let people hear. You know, we're gonna boost it just a little bit, and you know, you could throw little other tags in and different things like that if you want. But yeah, you could just use Ozone 9, and if you don't have Ozone 9, you could use the adaptive limiter. You're basically gonna be doing the same thing here, taking down the ceiling some. Wouldn't take it anything less than 0.5 dB, and then you just play around with the gain right here. Turn on true peak limiting. That's if you're using stock stuff. Okay, since we're not using stock, I'm gonna go ahead and we'll go ahead and use Ozone 9. So isotope Ozone 9, boom, go there. And usually what I like to do is go over here to this not mastering assistant, but go over here to the presets, all purpose. And I usually just come over here to the CD clean basic. And then I can just mess around with the threshold if I want. So let's check it out, see what it does. Bet. So you just see how clean that mix is on here. Now, there's other things I could have done to the mix, like panning and stuff like that. Be honest though, there's really I try to keep things pretty simple on this. You feel me? Like, you want your mix to really just be simple. Keep it simple. I'm not gonna close this. I think that's the only thing I forgot to do on this is the pan. And it does help out. So you don't want everything in one straight down the middle. So like on the highs, you might pull them over to the left or right, and even on these samples. But for the most part, it's a clean mix, man. Like, you really don't need to do too much. And this particular one, really, I didn't have to pan it, man. It sounded pretty dope the way it was. Yeah, so we'll just keep it as so. Pretty much, though, that's the video. I appreciate y'all watching, and I will see y'all in the next one.